Thanks, everyone. Welcome to today's King Talks Information Session, not Information Center, although we are the center of information today. My name is Paul Artale. I am the program manager for professional development engagement here at the Rackham Graduate School. And today we're going to talk about King Talks, what it is, what application looks like, what the commitment looks like, and what are the benefits you're going to get out of that. So let's get started. So let's go with some details. King Talks will take place this year on Wednesday, January 26th. It will be in the Rackham Auditorium. And what is a King Talk? It's a 10 to 12 minute talk based on your interests, your research, and the conference theme, which this year, that theme is This is America. So those are some basic pieces on the King Talks this year. Let's talk about the history in brief, really brief. Why are we doing this thing? Why is this a tradition, right? This is going to be the 5th King Talks coming up. So this will be year 5 of this program. And the King Talks was really an initiative that I was tasked with years ago in terms of the MLK Symposium. And so we were asked to, create a MLK Symposium event. And the sort of philosophy was, let's create an event that is going to be an annual thing. So it's going to be a tradition we can build upon. So we thought about what would be something great that we can do annually that would be known, that would also involve students and showcase student talent. And we came up with, people we all like TED Talks. And as graduate students, it's a great way to share ideas and to share knowledge. And that's where we kind of decided to go with the King Talks. And it's, providing a venue where students can share their personal experiences, their research, their academic interests, and tie that in with the MLK Symposium theme, and also do it in a way that would show perspectives from multiple disciplines and backgrounds. So it's, and you see, if you look at the majors of all the different King Talk speakers we've had over the years and different identities, we really do get a nice cross section there. And over 4 years, we've had 21 speakers, and that number is growing. Key dates. November 1st is the deadline to apply. The application will be available October 16th. You'll see that in a future slide. The week of November 16th will be the first team meeting. The week of January 26th is bookmark those evenings for in-person rehearsals. And then, of course, Wednesday, January 26th from 5 to 7 p.m. is the event. And the event always starts at 6, but we always ask our speakers there to be there an hour beforehand to get mic checks, run the stage, do all the pre-game, pre-speech elements that you need to do as part of the King Talks event. And this year it will be in the Rackham Auditorium. So this is a change from the past where we've been upstairs in the amphitheater. It is a much larger venue, and a couple of reasons we're doing that. Number one, obviously with the pandemic, we want a larger space so we can space out our attendees, and the auditorium's a way better fit. And number two, I think more importantly, it's a great venue for us to do more in terms, it has better lighting capabilities. It has the ability for what we call confidence monitors, where you'll be on stage and there'll be like TVs on the floor so you can see what your next slide is. So you're not going to be bound to a laptop at a podium. So it's going to allow for a more professional speaking venue and different technical aspects that come with that. So let's talk about the process. Speakers who are chosen will arrange a special regular meeting time with the alumni coach. So one thing that's different this year is you'll have me, who's the central coordinator of the event. I'll still be offering feedback and working with speakers as I have in past years. But this year, some of our past King Talk speakers are going to come back and be your one-on-one coach. And so you have to have a regular meeting time with our alumni coaches, attend group training sessions. These are done both in what we call small pods, so 2 to 3 people, and then the larger group, which is usually 5 to 6. And we give you targets every week to achieve. So the targets usually in week 1, for example, is, write out your first 100 words, right? And we kind of build on that so that by the time January hits, you're ready to go. And then, of course, occasional check-in with the King Talks coordinator. That's myself. So way more check-ins with your alumni coach, but I'll probably pop in once or twice on a one-on-one basis for a quick 10-minute call to just sort of see how things are going and if you have any questions. Benefits. So why do this? Number one, you become a much stronger speaker. I don't think, especially in graduate school, there's not always the opportunities to work on your communication skills, your public speaking skills. This offers you the opportunity to do so in an environment that is safe, in an environment that is positive, and in a way that allows you to really refine a message based on your expertise and deliver that message. And because of that, those three elements, you become a much stronger speaker. And that is the consistent feedback we've gotten from all 21 of our King Talk speakers over the years. It's fun. It's a great way to not necessarily think about your day-to-day grind and do something different, or you channel your energy into a different place. You do get a professional video of you speaking. And so if you have not watched the King Talks, you can go to YouTube and type them in, or you can go to our King Talks page, which I'll share that URL later in the chat box, and you can go watch some of the past King Talks. You'll see it's professional grade video. It's really good. You get a copy to do with what you want. You get books and resources. We usually select 2 or 3 books to help you as you're trying to put your speech together, and then resources depending on what else, anything else that comes up. Last year being a pandemic and we were 100% virtual with the King Talks, each of our speakers received a high def webcam and their own microphone to help ensure that audio quality was up to a certain standard. And of course, it comes with a $750 honorarium, which is gone up from last year, and every year we kind of increase the honorarium. That is paid once you complete the King Talks. And so know that there is a financial point. You are going to be compensated for your time as a thank you. It's more of a thank you than compensation, but it does come with a financial benefit. So things to think about with the King Talks is that as a King Talks speaker, you will be on promotional materials. And so just know that going in, right? Like, know that we're going to tweet your image out. We're going to tweet what you're talking about. We're going to replay your videos. So one thing we tell people before they apply is know that that is going to be you. People will talk to you and stop you and say, hey, I saw your face on the electric billboard, or, I saw it in the email. And so know that you're going to sort of be out there in different formats. And that's, usually speakers don't have an issue with that, but because of our communication teams does a really great job promoting it, you'll see that there will be some traction they get, and you get to be known. You get to be a little celebrity. So these are just some different stills from some of the different speakers we've used over the years. So let's talk about the application. What do we look for in this application, which again comes out October 16th? We're looking for a few things. Number one, we're looking for past speaking experience. It's going to ask you about past speaking experience. You don't necessarily have to have a ton of speaking experience. We just want to know where you're at and what your training has been in or your experience has been in. Some folks, their only speaking experience has been classroom presentations, and that is okay. Others have had more extensive experience in debate teams or speech contests or theater or preaching, and that's great too. We just, again, want to get a sense of sort of your experience and your familiarity. But again, we're really looking for a diversity of speakers in a lot of different areas. We want you, more importantly, to link your ideas to the theme. So the theme is This is America. When you get the application, you'll see the link there. You'll see an explanation of what that is. We want you to link your ideas to the theme. So don't just talk about a link to Martin Luther King, but the theme of This is America. And that's really important for us as we're grading the applications. Availability, questions about your availability. Of course, that's important. You need to be there for the King Talks date and all the fun stuff that comes with that. And you're going to, the last two sections are a speech outline, which we want you to, don't write the whole speech, but we just kind of want to know, if you're giving this speech today, what would it look like? What would be some of the basic talking points? How would you structure it? And this is important because we really want to see how your mind is working and really getting a sense of what's the message you're trying to communicate across to the audience. And then the last component is the video link. So we want you to record about a 3-minute video of you giving part of your speech, or you could be talking through your speech, but we really want to get a sense. What's important in the video is that we want to get a sense of who you are as a speaker. We want things to show on camera that might not show in a written application. And so I always say the best strategy is to give us the best strategy is always to give us a sense of who you are as a speaker, and what's the most, what your style is, right? And so we really want to see what that's going to look like on stage. It's as much as we can from a video perspective. Now, for the video component, there are a lot of ways you can get us to video. I strongly recommend you upload it to YouTube or Vimeo or any video streaming service where I can send this out to our reviewers and they just have to click on a link versus, Google Dropbox and the uploads and all that stuff. The links are a lot cleaner and easier for us and just makes for a better experience. And you can obviously make the links private, etc. Common questions. Do I have to have a background in public speaking? The answer is no. No, you do not. Like I said, we've taken students with all sorts of different experiences. We just want to know where you're coming from in the application. How often will we meet? Every other week as a large team, weekly with your coach / pod. All right. And so you'll be broke. The pod really depends on a couple of different factors, but usually small groups are easier to coordinate on a weekly basis. So 2 or 3 students or King Talk speakers will meet with you and your coach and sort of run through where you're at to try and get some help. So, you're talking about 1 to 2 meetings a week. Meetings run anywhere for usually about an hour, 1 to 2 hours. It really depends on the type of meetings. One-on-one with your coach can be, I've had sessions as little as 10 minutes and I've had more extensive sessions. It really depends on what your needs are at the time. What's the time commitment? I average it to 1 to 3 hours a week, which is a bit, the week of King Talks will be, it's probably 6, 7, 8 hours, not including the time you might be rehearsing at home. Before that, 1 to 3 hours as an average. Remember, we start sort of mid-November and then there's a Thanksgiving break. And then after that, we come back for a couple of weeks and then there's the winter break. And so during those break times, you're obviously going to refresh yourself, but also this is time spent creating the infrastructure of your speech so that when we come back in January, you are kind of hitting the ground running. So it's about 1 to 3 hours a week. How many speakers are chosen? Between 4 and 6. We really look at the applicant pool as a whole. We look at who could be a King Talk speaker and who might be a King Talk speaker, and we look at the definite yeses and then see if there's space from there. But 4 and 6, the average has been 5. I think almost every year we've had 5. We average 5 speakers a year. Is it just for PhD students? No, master students are more than welcome. We definitely want our master students to be part of this. And yeah, are all disciplines welcome? Yes, absolutely. So if you're in a Rackham graduate program, you are welcome to be part of this. And what's the format? Live, virtual, hybrid? Likely hybrid. Obviously, with the pandemic, we don't quite know, but we have reserved the auditorium. This year, we did our fall welcome live stream to an empty auditorium. I don't want to speak for what's going to happen in January because we don't know, but being in the auditorium gives us a lot of options. So it is likely going to be hybrid to probably, a small audience, which we're going to work through the logistics of that. But so you will be on it. It is more than likely you will be on a stage delivering your talk and we've already hired a professional production team to be there both the day before King Talks for a live dress rehearsal and the day of King Talks. So we should be good to go. In the case of, the things taking a turn, then we could go completely virtual as well. Again, that also might be from the auditorium. So just know that. Next steps, the application link opens on October 16th. November 1st is the deadline. So submit your application. The deadline will pass, and then we try to turn around applications in about a week. So you'll find out sort of November 8th-ish about the status of your application. And then once you're on board, we go straight into the first meeting and get the process going. And if you have questions, here is my name and there is my email. If you, after this presentation, had something you want to follow up with, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. And with that being said, I will now open this up for questions from the group. You can put them in the chat box. You can open up your mics. You can do as you need, but I will entertain any questions moving forward. And while people might be typing, I am going to put the King Talks page here in the chat box. And so feel free to check out the King Talks page as it's becoming, before you apply, get a sense of it. Here we go. We got a question. For the video part of the application, can we recite part of a speech we've already done, since we'll just have an outline of a King Talk at that time? No, I'm going to say I would not suggest. You can do what you want in the application. I would not suggest that you just do a past speech. In the application, we're not looking for perfection. We're looking for a sense of who you are. We know it's a draft. We know it's going to change. I would much rather you try and give a minute or two of what your intro. I always say, when in doubt, start with your introduction. Start with your first minute and a half of material, and then go that way, and see, because we really need to see where the speech is going. Doing a speech that you've done before doesn't help us that much. So we want to see it. And some speakers have kind of just laid out their speech verbally, but the best applications typically start with reciting part of their speech and going into it, and then, if they need to talk through some points or let us know some other points, or sometimes they talk about technical aspects they would also include or show us, you can do that as well. But yeah, make it fresh material. In the past, someone has asked, can I use a past speech I've done as my King Talk? And generally speaking, no, we want it to be original content created for the King Talks, because that's part of the process as well. Question about public speaking anxiety. Yes. Question is, I assume our coaches will help with any public speaking anxiety. I know I always have some butterflies. Yes, you get lots of coaching on anxiety and the process, both from myself and your individual coaches. And here's a tip: when it comes to anxiety, it is completely normal to have some butterflies. That's actually, in a lot of ways, a good thing. It's just learning how to control that. But yeah, we work with that. And here's the other thing that happens is that we practice, the way we practice and structure the talks and the process is in such a way that by the time the King Talks event happens, yes, you're nervous because you're going on stage. It's performance day again, and that's natural, but you're usually prepared to the point where you're ready to give that speech. And so you go from kind of a nervous energy to like what I call a performance energy, which feels the same, but you're kind of in a better headspace. So yeah, but we will help with that. And with any technical issues or just you name it, we help prepare you. Thank you for
that. Hello, Paul.
Hey, Miles.
Yes, I'm just curious, how much do these talks need to speak to the legacy of Dr. King specifically? So is it like original research about Dr. King, about something he did that leads us to think about those issues today, or is it more about social justice issues and equity issues more broadly?
The answer is yes. I would say it's more the latter. So we don't want, the idea is in some speeches, you don't even necessarily have to mention Dr. Martin Luther King. It's about the theme, right? Theme, which is then selected in the spirit of King. So we've had speeches that, one talk last year was all about water quality and inequalities and sort of, water purity in different types of communities, right? Not much mention of Dr. King, if at all, but it fit with our theme. So so if you want to go, say, the social justice route, one year we had a speaker talk about antibiotic resistance and sort of the implications for that in our society, but it completely fit with the theme. So you take it in the direction that you want. So, but it has to fit in some form with the theme, This is America. Because the ultimate objective is to have, let's say, 5 different speakers talk about the MLK theme from different perspectives. So we want speeches that look and sound different. Did I clarify that? Thank you. Other questions?
Is there a preference for talks that speak about historical themes and kind of that historical event in itself, like an event in the 1960s, or is it more of a preference for historical events that also have some kind of immediately contemporary relevance to this is America today, or this is America in general?
I would say it's probably this is America in general. We leave a lot of that ambiguous on purpose, but I would say there is a connotation like this is America now. But I mean, as someone that was a historian, someone as a history major, you could definitely make an argument. You could take an event from the 1960s to 1860s, whatever, and present this as America, and it could still work. But yeah, I think it's you have, like I said, you have leeway to go in whatever direction you want with it, which I think drives some people crazy. But I think it's the part that I love, because I don't want to say to speakers, we all have to make reference to this event, right? Like and that's not the way the symposium theme is never really structured that way anyway. I want to be able to say, like, how does this theme, which reflects Dr. King's legacy, inspire you in your work, or, ignite a message that you need to share based on your experiences and your research, et cetera. And we go from there. Other questions? Well, I'll thank everyone for coming. Again, you will look for your email. You'll get a link when the application opens. In the meantime, feel free to contact me and ask me questions if you're thinking through your application. If you need some insight, we're more than happy to do that. So thanks, everyone. When I stop the recording, I will hang out in the room if people want to ask me questions off camera. So you're not being recorded. I will do that as well. But thank you so much. And I hope to see everyone's King Talk application on October 16th.